Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, West Africa. Good morning, the world. My name is Towa Derile. I am back again on the Breakfast Express show on MITV Plus. It's always a delight, like I say, every single day to be here for you, doing what I know how to do best. So welcome. I'm inviting you to join me for breakfast. I'm extending a hand of fellowship to you. So to all our regular callers, it's time for breakfast, time to be served, time to wait for your calls, after we settle into the program. So again, I say to you, welcome. And of course, I have with me Okpayemi Akiode. He is very much around. Good morning, Okpayemi. It's a Friday. Are you excited?
Definitely.
Of course.
I mean, there's no saying that fact. I'm really excited because it's a weekend, and of course, it's time for us to take a back seat a little bit and just get some well-deserved rest. I no doubt about that. So, good morning.
Okay, yeah, time for a regular break, and when we return, we'll be looking at the papers, we'll be looking at what's happening in Nigeria. There's so much making its round in the news, but just wait a little, we'll be right back.
In Biggie's house, there's no place to hide, and even when you think no one is watching, the energy can swing in an instant. This BB Naija Season 11, everything burns brighter. Only the biggest moves tip the scale, because nothing is given, but everything is for the taking. When the world watches, will you be outshined, or will you step up and take the spotlight? Big Brother Naija Season 11 starts Sunday, July 26th, showing 24/7 on DSTV Channel 198 and GoTV Channel 49. Headline sponsor, Bet Power.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Express show. This morning, we'd like to take a look at the Punch newspaper as the first paper for review. And I'd like to start with the above the name plate. WAEC result crisis worsens as official alleges irregularities and glitches, in the results. Okay, so we have been talking about education very recently on this program. We've put the searchlights on education because whatever, we're going through in Nigeria at the moment, education has a whole lot to do with it. Some people say education is a scam, that the ultimate is to make money. Not every educated person is making money in Nigeria today. But having said that, a formal education will help you understand the rudiments of the game, of how to live life. So it is important, it is very important. Education is not a scam. So when we put our searchlights on education, it is not because we want to waste time, but because we know the importance of education. So, okay, at this point, look at what the papers are saying. There are glitches, there are irregularities in the WAEC results. Is it actually from the exam? Is it from the examiners? Is it from the collation of the results? All those details. But let's just look at it, discuss it, and look at education and how important education is.
I think WAEC and maybe JAMB as well, UTME, I think they are really struggling with the transition from how they usually conduct their exams to computer-based tests now, because at times they have agents that they assign and then their credits all over the country to conduct these exams. And then we saw what happened in JAMB the last time, to the point that even the head of JAM, the former head of JAM now, Professor Isha Akoloyede, had to come and cry on national TV, apologizing to the students. And that was because some of those students raised questions that they know what they've done. They know how well they prepare for this exam. There's no way they can be having 69 over 400. There's no way they can be having 103 over 400. There's no way they can be having these results that they have. So they protested the result. And 2 days after, the head of JAM came out and said that, oh, we're sorry, and there were glitches, there were issues. Some of the students were complaining that they were locked out and they couldn't log in because it's time bound. If you get locked out and you cannot log in within the time of your exams, you cannot come in again, you've lost the chance. And it raised the question of how ready are we without transitioning. And this is what JAM is, this is what WAEC is also putting out again. When I saw the exams and I saw how quick they were releasing the result, I was telling a couple of my colleagues, I said, what's the rush for? I'm suspecting that something could go wrong. Because you can't release results and how many days after the exam? It's in West Africa. It's not even just the Nigerian exam. It's the West African Examination Council. It covers Ghana. It's not just Nigeria alone. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, we are seriously looking for
something.
And that was exactly what has been unraveling. Do you understand? Glitches everywhere. Election glitches, bank transaction glitches, online payment platform glitches, buying something online glitches, JAM result glitches, WAEC result. Every single thing we try to do in that migration space of let's go technological, it's always a problem. And at the end of the day, these kids are going to be at the receiving end. Do you know how many kids had to rewrite JAM the last time because of the glitches that was recorded? And you remember the last time, some of them were abducted on their way to writing JAM. Remember the story we picked up in Delhi. Even in Nasarawa, the same thing happened. And so we are here again. And I'm trying to understand, what will it take you to fully get accredited centers and make sure that all of these guys have all of their the required things for them to apply as agents. And the moment you approve them that, okay, you are going to be an official CBT center, you have to go there and visit what they have. Don't let them apply that they have 300 systems and then you get it, they have only 29. And out of those 29, only 15 is functional. Don't go there and they tell you that, oh, all their systems are computer based, they're internet connected. And then you get it, they tell you there's only 10 computers that are operated on a router. These are the things that are happening too. And then at the end of the day, the kids involved are the ones that are feeling the problems. Imagine what a child had to go through, prepare, go to special center, go to WAEC lessons, read, and then at the end of the day, the results start giving a result that is different from what, there's when you write an exam too. As an undergraduate, there were times I called for my paper. After the result is out, I'm like, no, I know what I had in my CA. I know what I wrote in my exam. So there's no way you give me 28 over 14 this or give me 38 over 16 this exam. And I'll officially write and I'll recall my script. I will tell them to remark my script. And more than 90% of the times I did, the results came out different from what they gave initially. Because we had lecturers then that students were the ones marking our own exams. Maybe you're 411 students were the ones marking your exams. And I'm like, I know what I wrote. I'm recalling my script, and they will remark it, and they will give me something better than that because you know what you've done. And that's why these kids will do that. No, there's no way I can score this low in biology. All through my SS1 to SS3, I was the best student in biology in my school. We are very sure what you've done. Now what the kids in JAM did. No way. There's no way you give me 19. You give me 19 over 100 in English in JAM. I did better. And those kids and their parents and their gather protested that result in JAM. And what did they do? 2 days later, JAM register came out and said that we're sorry and there were glitches. So if those kids have not protested, you will not have gotten that development from JAM. Now it is WAEC.
Okay, so the problem is the transiting period.
I think so.
So I think that Nigeria should have reached a point where we wouldn't be having these kind of problems as we speak, because we've not just started using computers, and I think by now we should have enough hands and we should have enough, computers ready, for the exams. And if we don't have accredited, enough people, agents who can handle these things, why doesn't the government, ensure that, they invest? Investment in education is never a waste, So I think this problem needs to be looked into thoroughly by the Ministry of Education, because if it's going to affect the students, then something has to be done ASAP. We can't keep going back and forth, just as Okwe has analyzed. It happened for the JAMB results, and now it's happening for WAEC, perhaps NECO and all the likes. So we need to really put things in place so that our children don't suffer unnecessarily, so that they're not given, grades that are not really theirs. Knowing Nigeria, sometimes if you're not strong enough, if you're not strong-willed enough, or if you don't know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, you just might be there at the receiving end, So I think that the Nigerian leaders, in the ministry, the minister, and everybody concerned should put more focus on our children and their future and their education, to ensure that, they come out top notch. I've always said it. I don't have issues with Nigerians, especially the youth, because I know that they're capable of doing so much. But the problem or the question is, are we actually tapping, the God-given gifts that they have? Are we giving them the opportunity to excel? Are we, helping them, nurturing them, just as you will nurture your plants, as you will nurture your crops, as you will nurture your cattle, your whatever it is you're making money from? Why are we not nurturing our children so that, they come out, with excellent results? So I think, we need to take a look at what's going on in WAEC right now and do something about it.
And people also need to be held to account too. Do you understand? There are people saddled with the responsibility of making sure that things like this, I understand that systems can develop faults too. I understand. But these things are done, there's something they call mock or trial exams. These things are done over time. That before we do the general one, let us trial of the things that we have. Do you understand?
So ensure that there will be no problem.
We're talking about an exam of the local government now too. We're talking about an exam that will take kids from one step of their life to the next step, from the secondary school into the university. Do you understand? So there are people that are serving responsibility of supervising that all the approved CBT centers are properly done. But sometimes you go to these CBT centers, so you will see the generator that they are using to power 200 system. In the midst of an exam, the generator will go off.
And you see, I think that there's even a greater problem than we had in JAMB, because JAMB is Nigerian based. WAEC is West African based. They're not going to set another exam for Nigeria alone. So these kids may, at the end of the day, have to suffer another 1 year of waiting at home, and that's not good. Now, when you talk about corruption in the educational system, whether it's in the private, sector or in the public sector, I just think it's on the increase. I think that really affected my mood when Okwe said that, some 400 level students, will mark the papers of other students, maybe 100 level students or so, or something like that. In my opinion, first of all, why would a student be marking other students' results? Why, are they lecturers? Were they trained to lecture? Why would that happen? Now, there's a lecturer who's supposed to be in charge, who is collecting a salary, a monthly salary, for all of that, marking the scripts, teaching the students, and a whole lot of things. The lecturers have their job descriptions. Why would you now take your job description and give it to a student who came to school to study? That's one. Two, a student who may, by chance, not like the person whose papers he or she is marking. I think that, that for me is quite depressing. it's not good enough. And coming from a university like the one that Ope attended, and it is not unique to his university. This is what happens in almost all the universities. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. And so on the story goes, in every sector, at every level of examination, for students, it's always the same problem. Nobody is ensuring perfection in this industry. And it is one industry that you cannot but ensure that there's perfection, because if you miss it, you miss out. And that missing out that we just say, or we just speak of casually is so deep that it can affect a human being for life. And so I think the government needs to be looking inward into education and all the challenges that come with it, for students in Nigeria. Okay, we're reading the Punch newspaper. 2027 APC opposition clash over federal government's $1 billion household palliative. And the writer for that story is opposition alleges federal government's 2027 vote buying strategy. Now, I don't want to be the first to make a comment on this. Okay, Let me hear from you.
I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and I said the manner at which government seems to be throwing money around now, I think the pressure is getting to the government. The pressure of how do I put it now? The people demanding accountability from the government. Oh, you have saved so and so on subsidy. What are you using it for? Last week or so on the show, we heard that the government is releasing a support fund for the government to handle security and public infrastructures. Last week or earlier in the week as well, we also saw that some amount of money again is being released to the governors again for the second time. Now, maybe some opposition clash over federal government's $1 billion household palliative. And a lot of people are saying we are pumping in this money into the system because election is coming. Rather than for you to build institutions that will sustain the livelihood of the people you are presiding over, you're just giving handouts. You're giving handouts. And these handouts are falling into the wrong hands. Do you understand? The government will come out and tell you that, oh, they've given 10 million households conditional cash transfer. And then ask people that if they have received that money, come outside and come and defend it. Government will tell you that they've done the anchor borrower scheme. They reached out to 10,000 farmers across the rural areas. Go in there and talk to these farmers. They are complaining about lack of tractors. They are complaining about expensive fertilizers. They are complaining about the because we're running a government where there's no data. So the last national census conducted in this country was in 2006. The lifespan of the census is 8 to 10 years. Do you understand? That means you can make projections based on the census you've done 10 years ago. That means we've outlived our census life by another 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you are looking at the last one we had in 2006 where they said Lagos was maybe like 13 million. In fact, the outcome of that census was also challenging court, saying that there's no way you can tell us statistically by number that Lagos, that Kano people are more than residents of Kano are more than residents of Lagos. You're running the database where you don't know the number of out-of-school children that you have. You don't know the number of people living with disabilities. You don't know the number of ex-convicts that you have. You don't know the number of men within the ages of 9 to 20 or between the ages of 40 to 72. You are making projections based on Lagos should be, Kano should be, Akwa Ibom should be.
Not basing it on the level.
20 years ago, Akwa Ibom was 3 million. So you are projecting that, okay, you're looking at the growth rate.
5 million.
Do you understand? So it's just like somebody going to the market store. You want to cook food. Do you understand? You just went to the market, bought a cow, bought a bag of rice, and cooked like that. You don't know the number of people you are cooking for. You don't know the demographics of people you want to cook for as well. Maybe some of them don't eat salt. Some of them are diabetic. Some of them don't eat red meat. Some of them are children. You just go to the market and you just cook. At the end of the day, you cook one bag of rice for only 2 people. So when you are making policies as a government and you cannot get
you can't.
Do you know the number of people that are dying in this country every day? Do you know the number of people that are giving birth in this country every day? Do you know the number of people that have been kidnapped, killed, released, rescued in this country every year? Do you understand? So when you have a system when there's no data, do you understand? If you are giving people anchor borrower scheme, if you are giving farmers incentives, do you go back to confirm whether they use those monies to for the right purposes, or that doesn't mean? Do
you even know if one farmer has received this thing multiple times in different areas, different zones, different locations? So, because there's no data.
There are a lot of social investments programs
the register.
MSIPs in this country told that people are benefiting from multiple funds. Somebody will collect from Empower. Somebody will still go and collect conditional cash transfer. Somebody will still apply for anchor borrowers, because we need to know reconcile all this data. So we just borrow money and then we are eating it. You go to the bank, you go and collect loan, and instead of you to use that loan to set up a factory that we use to repay those loans, so you use that loan to enjoy, use it to go one day. That's what we are doing in this country. We are borrowing money to spend. We are saving palliatives, and we are saving money from subsidy, and we are putting it in the hands of the governors. Do you know how rich Nigeria? I always say it. I say the governors before 2023, they will be in great envy of the governors that we have now, because we've never had this good. Local government chairmen have never had it this good. In fact, the next local government election in this country will be more competitive than House of Representative elections. Because the money that local government chairmen are now having access to now, apart from the IGL, the money that is coming from federation account every month, so it is bigger than what any House of Representative member will get in 4 years. So you are saying that you are giving people $1 billion palliative. Oh, you are giving us the statistics of the number of families you have given them to. Do you understand? Give us the number of people. Give us the number of people living with disabilities. Give us the number of children that you are doing a homegrown school feeding program for. How many people are you giving eggs every day? How many of your children are you feeding every day? Or are you releasing this money because the election is coming? People should not be made to vote in elections out of inducement.
That's exactly from all of this, all the history and everything. I'm really not concerned about it. But what I'm concerned about is that why are they giving palliatives at this point in time? Why is it so important that the people survive anyway now? Why is it so important that the same people who have been kidnapped and killed time and time again, and nobody was looking that way, why is it all of a sudden important that these people get something to eat for a limited period of time? Why is that the solution as we speak? Why can't we, give Nigerians a long time feeding program, such that you can teach them how to farm, you can give them farms, you can give them crops to farm, you can give them the equipment so that they can farm, and they can continue to feed themselves. Why are you giving them a piece of fish instead of teaching them how to fish? Why are you so concerned all of a sudden about Nigerians and whether they're doing well? Why are we bringing up palliatives, at this time, at this sensitive period? My advice to APC, to the party, is that, listen, if you know that you have done well, if you know that you always cared for the people, if you know that you listened to the people's voices and you met them at the point of their needs, I don't think that should be palliatives at this point.
I'm telling you.
Because already the opposition have started to raise their eyebrows to say that what exactly is going on. Okay, I can see a call coming in. We're not going to take calls now. I want to settle in properly, and then we can start to take calls. So if you give us a few minutes more, then we will come back to you and take your calls. For me, I think that this is where I want to focus on, because it is not exciting.
If you have made life easy for your people,
it is not. That's exactly what I'm saying. You're dumping carrots, You
don't make them think straight because you're inducing them to vote.
And honestly, Nigerians have moved beyond that point. Some Nigerians who fell victim at some point, have moved beyond that point because they now realize that giving them a fish is not going to feed them for a lifetime. But teaching them exactly. So they actually know that right now, they are not priority, because all the monies that Nigeria has been making they haven't benefited in any way from it. More often than not, why people will take palliatives right now is because they believe that, okay, it's part of our commonwealth. If we don't take it, we're going to be depriving ourselves.
So
but it's not going to inform our decisions when we get to the polling booth anymore. No, those times have gone. Listen, the scales have fallen from a lot of Nigerians' eyes. So I just think, let the people be. If you want to really show that you care for the people, ensure that they have good roads. Ensure that when they go to the hospitals, they can get treatment, at affordable charges. Ensure that they have power supply, that they can, cook in bulk and preserve whatever it is that they cook. That way it is more economical for them. Ensure that they have a good education. I'm just saying, this is the only way that you can tell the people that you care for them. It's not by giving them whatever it is you're giving them. You can even give them gold now. That doesn't mean you care for them. If you cared for them, you would have carried them all through the years up until now, and even up until you hand over the baton to whoever it is, whether it is you're handing it over to yourself or whatever. That's my point. My point is, I'm not looking at the history. I am looking at what the paper is saying right now. Why are we giving palliatives? At this point, it is so insensitive, in my opinion. And what, for me, it actually irritates me, because you're telling me, in other words, that Nigerians, intelligence is this little, so you think that you will drive the numbers through giving them palliatives, which for me is not going to work. At the polling booth, it's not going to work. It's too late to cry when the head is cut off. If Nigerians go out there and vote massively for the ruling party right now, or for the current party, that's fine. It's because they actually want to, not because of what you're giving to them. And if they go out there and say, you know what, we want a change in government, it's because that's what they want to. Nigerians have learned a lot. Look at Osun State. It just tells you that Nigerians are no longer, the passive kind of people that they used to be. They may not be outspoken because they know that what they're saying will not be heard, but they are still, they're going to say something anyway, even if it's by going to the polls to make the difference.
Well, I hope so. And because whether they like it or not, the weaponization and institutionalized poverty that we have in Nigeria will make it difficult for us to predict what the voting pattern will be in January 2027. Fact is, there's a lot of enlightenment going around as regards why you should make informed political decisions. But there's a way you can take straight too, and that taking straight can be limited to how well you feel. And how well you feel can be limited to how the quality of food that you're eating. And sometimes when you depend on the quality of food that is coming from palliative, it's difficult to think straight. If the government had done the right thing, if they made right meals available, if they made yams available, if they made road available, if they made public infrastructure, you have 3 years plus to do all of these things. See, when they say you cannot fix Nigeria in one day, I ask myself, nobody says you should fix Nigeria in one day. Exactly. But if you are intentional enough, we don't have any problems in this country. Go back to listen to the campaign conversation of MKO. In 1990, 1991, 1992. The same problem that MKO talked about is still the same problem we are facing today. NNPC, CBN, this one and that one. Is that why they are saying NNPC Limited cannot account for over 200 trillion? So we don't have new problems. So you that you are a government that you are coming into power, you campaign. Okay, prioritize the things you want to do. First 6 months, I want to face public infrastructure. First 1 year, I want to consolidate on public infrastructure. Next 6 months, I want to face health. Next 6 months, I want to consolidate on whatever it is I've gotten from health. So when people see the signs that, okay, you're not fixing everything at once, but you're focusing on one. 1 year, there's improvement in quality of public infrastructure. The next 1 year, there's improvement in security. The next 1 year, there's improvement in education. People know that, okay, you promised 6 things. You have done 3. Let's give you another 4 years. Hoping that you will complete the 3. But when you don't have anything legitimate to push out, and then you are dangling fruits, carrots in front of the people, you are influencing their voting patterns. There's nothing you want to do about that. When you say it comes a palliative, grant, support, everything, we know what you are doing. We know what you are doing. When the election comes, we convert all of those things to vote buying. We know what you are doing.
Yeah, okay, I agree with you that there's poverty in the land, and I agree with you that palliatives could, you know, be misleading sometimes, you know, and we can't predict, you know, what the numbers will be at the polls because, you know, Nigerians are hungry. But I can almost assure you, okay, that Nigerians are hungry, yes. Will not stop them from taking the palliatives, yes. But will the palliatives determine their votes this time? I cannot say. I cannot say, because if it does determine their votes this time, you know, then Nigerians can never learn. You know, but if it doesn't, you know, whatever it is, whoever it is they want to vote for, you know, just go there and make sure that your voting is coming out of, you know, the depth of belief in whoever it is that you're going to vote for. That's it. You believe that this person, you know, is a performer. You believe this person has leadership qualities. You believe that this person understands the terrain, understands the system, and will be able to tackle, if not all of the problems, at least 60% of the problems. Will be able to care for the masses. Will be able to ensure that, you know, our children can go to school, and you know, their school fees is augmented, you know, and stuff like that, you know. And sometimes if necessary or when necessary, free education. It's not too much. We did it back in the days of UPN. We had free education. Jack on Day, you know, Awolowo and all of that. That was free education. Why is it that there was not, you know, enough money in circulation at that time, but they were able to use the little money that they had
To touch the
lives of the people, to educate the people? How come there's so much money in circulation now, whether it is borrowed funds or whether it is money that's made from revenue, you know, or whatever, whether it is looted funds that is being, you know, circulated in the system again? You know, we have the money. Why can't we use these things, you know, so that people can benefit? That's all. Nigerians are not asking for too much. We're not coming here to say, you know, each of us needs a limousine. Nobody's saying give us a Bentley. Nobody's asking for things like that. We're saying the necessary things of life, our needs. Just meet us at the point of our needs. We're not asking for, our wants are limitless. You know, but our needs, everybody knows what needs are. Just meet the needs of the people, the basic needs of the people, and you will get, you know, the pass mark. It's as easy as that. Why can't you do it? Okay, the lines are going to be thrown open now. If you're watching the program and you want to be part of this program, you can call us at this time. Okay, we're still on the Punch newspaper. Tinubu APC governors move to fix campaign list crisis. And the writers, Tinubu governors APC heavyweights hold 2-day strategy meeting in Aso Rock. APC may drop controversial chieftains as PCC lists undergoes review. APC plans more social interventions ahead of 2027 poll after $1 billion scheme. Okay. Let's hear from you.
Yes. I'll continue to say it. We can't continue to pump in all of these monies out like this. But again, the people are hungry. And if that's the best way you think you can reach them, let's go on. The presidential campaign committee list of the APC, the level of controversy it's generating is really disturbing. And that's because of the people involved. When campaign comes, most times, governors usually suffer. Everything becomes political. In fact, now we've not even started House of Assembly and governorship. For now, it's still presidential and national assembly, Senate and reps. By 4th of September, the governors and House of Assembly will join. That means there's a total collapse of governance. Do you understand? You barely say a governor in the states. Do you understand? Especially those who are within the All Progressive Congress. They're already moving around the country to campaign for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Secondly, when you have people that are manning important institutions of government, being a part of a campaign team It's disturbing. When I saw the campaign list and I saw Dr. Zak Adedeji, the head of the Federal Revenue Service is no longer Inland Revenue, it's not Federal Revenue Service. And I asked myself, this man is the number one taxman of the Federation, not the APC taxman. He is the one in charge of collecting tax, collecting from Caesar, collecting from Paul to pay Peter. He is the one in charge of all of those. He is the one leading the aggressive tax drive that Nigeria is going over now. That we are making our target of January to December as early as May, June. Because Nigerians are being taxed from multiple funds. This same man has been drafted into the finance committee of the presidential election. What message are you sending to me? That I'm not a member of the APC. That the man in charge of driving our tax is part of your campaign team. In the finance committee of your campaign. What are you telling me?
Now let me tell you something. What they're telling you is take it or leave it. We can do anything we want to do. We are the ruling party. We're not looking at what is right to do. We're not looking at what we should do or what we should be doing. We are doing what we want, how we want it, at will, and it's not only in this area. We talked about campaign long before the campaign was, officially open. They've been campaigning. They've been, it's like they're just throwing caution to the wind because nobody can do anything. They're the ruling party anyway. So, okay, what do you want to say about that?
No, I understand where that is coming from. But, if over time we've legalized illegality such that
that's what we've done.
We try to defend things that look out of the ordinary. Do you understand? If you look at the structure of the APC, the president has made himself the chairman of his campaign council. But Senator Abdulaziz Yari is now the DG of the campaign. And for you to be the DG of the campaign, you have to be a big boy. A big boy not just by having the numbers, a big boy in your pocket. Senator Yari bought the largest shares from Geregu. Geregu is one of the largest power supply this thing that we have in this country. Guess how much he bought it? 1 trillion. 1 trillion was what he used to buy to become the largest shareholder in the Geregu power project. He bought it from Otedola and all of them, collected all their shares. 1 trillion. So for you to be the DG of a campaign, you need to have a lot of money to throw around. You are in charge. You dictate the tone, the mood, the energy around the campaign structure. Do you understand? But this person is a serving senator. If I'm not mistaken. You understand, Tom? It is what it is. Why don't you have a problem with that? This is a politician. Dr. Adedeji is not supposed to be a politician as such. Even though I know that there will definitely be political alliances.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please, I want to speak to Breakfast Express.
Okay, you are first caller on the show. What's your name?
Okay, my name is Miss Gift.
Miss what?
Gift.
Gift. Okay, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ishaga.
Ishaga. Okay, go ahead and make your contribution.
Please, my God will bless you and the man that is always on this program. God will bless you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you that you do for us. What I'm saying is that the palliative that this is actually will not even say anything. We don't know if there is palliative or there is no palliative. We don't know anything about it. So this thing has done them. They know where the palliative is going to. They know where it is going to. We don't know anything. This country is so hard. Things are becoming so hard, so tough, that we hardly feed 3 times in a day. I have children that are supposed to resume school. Like this, we don't even have money to even put them in school anymore. We've gone for government schools, and it's not even helping too. We have to tell you to go and bring that clearance. We are not working. Which class clearance are you bringing? We are not working. So all these things, I don't know. This country, let God help us now, because we're just tired of the whole thing. And those just calling, please don't help us. We are just at the mercy of nothing. Just help us. Returning to this school, we'll here. I don't understand. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much for your contribution. When a human being tells you that we are at the mercy of nothing, what's the meaning of that? That's a hopeless situation. That is hopelessness at its peak, if you ask me. That's the height of hopelessness. How can a human being, how can people, citizens of a country that have a leader, that have leaders at various levels, at the federal level, at the state level, at the local government level, how can people like that, be 100% hopeless? There's absolutely no hope. We're talking about palliatives and the amount of money that has been, dedicated to palliatives. $1 billion to palliatives. But who's getting the palliatives? That's the question. She says she has children. She can't even feed them. She can't educate them anymore in private schools. She's taking them to government schools. That's not helping. Now, this person who has spoken is just representing a huge number of Nigerians who cannot feed, who cannot educate their children, who have really no jobs to do. And we say that they should come out and vote for us. Really? Hello?
Hello, good morning, my dear sister.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
My name is Chedin, the preacher man.
I guessed as much. You're welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. I greet Mr. Okwetu.
No, good morning, sir. Good morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I want to quickly mention what you guys said about education.
Yes, sir.
Education is very, very important. Without education, the people become, what will I call them? They become something like useless. Like, I am a community leader in my area. I was at the CDC meeting last week, Thursday. I was telling them because I see youth men all over the street doing nothing. You don't see them gather, drink, and do. I told the CDC chairman that we need to do something about it. That in some years' time, these people become a menace to the society, just like what's happening in the north. We need to call them, we need to educate them. I have to call the CDC youth leader. So you have to go and know these people one by one.
Sure. So we lost that call. We lost that call, but that was a very good contribution. Very important. Extremely important. Now this is at the CDC level. You see, these are the kind of leaders that Nigeria should have, who would ensure that every single person, to the best of their ability, and why I say to the best of their ability is because you cannot do it all. You can't do it all, but within your capacity, what are you doing? This is a man who's, saying, okay, look at the way he's doing it. He's calling the youth leader. So, he's a leader, but there are leaders at different levels. Now he's saying, listen, I am urging you to go and know these people one after the other, one by one. Who they are, what they do, and how we can help them, educate them, change their mindset, change their thinking, change the direction in which they are going to ensure that they have a quality life, to ensure that their standard, is at par with others. These are the kind of leaders we're talking about. Is it too difficult to do?
No, it's not.
Hello?
It's not.
Yes. Yeah, okay, we lost that call. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I have to call the youth leader, say, go and know these people. Go to the CBA youth leaders because they are under you. Make sure you know this. And, I said we have formal and informal education.
Yes.
Ask them, which one do you want to do? Talk to their parents. Do you want to learn work? Do you want to go to school? As the youth leader, it's your job to make sure that the youth are put in the right direction. And secondly, at the round of this one, hello?
Hello, we're listening to you.
You said, I don't know whether it is true that financial whatever is involved in the campaign team of the APC. I don't know whether I'm getting it right.
Yes.
It's very terrible. It's not supposed to be so, and it has never been so in this country. Why is it like that? Why would somebody that is under finance being under your campaign team? It's finished, my dear sister.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you. He said, it's finished. That was what Jesus said on the cross. He said it is finished. In short, another sigh of hopelessness. It is finished. I mean, I didn't even want to go that route. I didn't want to, because I will turn red. You know, I am so livid, you know, to even know that that is happening. It's just like, you know, somebody coming up to you, you're walking on the road, he gives you 3 slaps and he walks away. What can you do anyway? that's exactly what we're facing in Nigeria. And, you know, there's only one way to qualify dictatorship. That's what it is. This is what we want. This is what we will do, irrespective of what you feel, what you think, or what you want. That's a dictatorship. Simple and straightforward. You know, and this kind of thing makes people so hopeless. You know, it makes people so hopeless. It's unfortunate.
Let me pull that part out. I have the APC presidential campaign structure in front of me right now. The director of fundraising is Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State. The deputy director of fundraising 1 is Dr. Zaccheaus Adedeji. I can understand that Abiodun being the director of fundraising. Do you understand? He's a politician. But how do I explain to people that the head of the Federal Tax Agency, Federal Revenue Agency, is the deputy director of fundraising and mobilization in a presidential campaign committee? The one that has the database of Nigerians, not just APC members, the one that is in charge of our tax register in the country, the entire country too, is the deputy director 1 of the fundraising of a presidential campaign. I can't wrap my head around it all. It's difficult to. Do you understand? I can excuse everybody else on that list. But if the man in charge of taxing Nigerians, raising the revenue of government, has now been drafted as a second role into becoming the deputy director for fundraising of a presidential campaign, then what gives you the assurance to that the tax you will file from August till January or February when the election will finish will go into the right pocket? No, talk to me about it. Talk to me about it. How do you juxtapose this? I can make an excuse for a minister, I can make an excuse for a governor, I can make an excuse for an ambassador, I can make an excuse for the head of department or agency. I can make all of those excuses too. If you can draft Dr. Zaccheaus Adedeji, then people bring Professor Josh Amukpito into it. Because they're both head federal agencies. If the man in charge of our tax revenue in this country has been drafted into fundraising, not even youth mobilization, not people with disability, fundraising of the president. Look at what we have reduced public office to.
So he will now strangulate us.
Yes, because
Get our commonwealth, and now they will now convert it or divert it to the campaigns of the political party.
Maybe people don't understand what
that is what. Listen,
about.
that's what anybody will read. You see, that's the handwriting that is on the wall. That's what it means, you know, in other words. So I don't know who is thinking for these people, if they're not thinking themselves, or who is advising them, because they always have the special advisors, and they have the senior special advisors and the likes, and the, you know, all the paraphernalia. Everybody is, you know, there, and yet what we see is not what we expect. Is professionalism at its worst, if you ask me. Because I don't know who is advising this kind of thing. Nigerians are going to listen. You have created a huge vacuum, and that lacuna just has to be filled with something. So whatever it is Nigerians are saying would go into that something to fill it. You have to accept it because you started it. I don't know how. You know, it's finished. It's finished.
No, I'm sure we'll come back to this, and I won't be surprised too if after this review of this presidential campaign team, if they remove the name of Dr. Zaccheaus Adedeji.
Yeah,
I was
because
surprised.
no, but that's
Because the reaction that I
because
saw,
it says APC may drop controversial
Yes.
chieftains
Yes.
as PCC list undergoes review. I mean, but listen, if they even drop him, the fact that they even walked that path in the first place is going to be so difficult to believe or trust the ruling party. It's going to be so difficult.
it will be. Do you understand?
But let me say
He's
it.
probably been working under the table in a different capacity, but we have sent the message to the people.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wonder who advises the president, because I'm sure that the process of setting up this campaign committee will have been thoroughly checked. Oyagbeza Kiosiwa, Shebi is the one. You remember also that in the Bible, the tax master that invited Jesus Christ to his house, his name was also Zacchaeus. Okay, yeah, come, bring him in. Let him come and drive mobilization for us. Because you understand, as the tax agents, you know all the big multinational companies that will donate heavily to fund these campaigns. You can reach out to them, whether in the guise of social responsibility or giving back and all of that. But don't forget that for every penny that these multinational companies contribute to your election, it is the consumers that will pay for it. That's when you say you bought 10 big data, the thing disappeared. I see 10 people are using it. Because the money they are contributing,
At the end of the day, whether it's coming through the companies or people that are not real, they are the ones that are paying for it. We are the ones paying for it.
So when you expose Nigeria, and I'm wondering, you know, we've had situations in this country where a lot of questions are about to be asked. There was a certain minister in this country, do you understand, under the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, late President Muhammadu Buhari, and each time I listen to Yusuf Pantami speak, I'm always questioning that, how did we allow people like this to be so close to political power? Zak Adedeji, you are not only taxing APC members, you are taxing PDP members, you are taxing Labour Party members, you are taxing people that are even non-political. So when you allow yourself to be drafted into the fundraising committee of a presidential campaign of one particular political party, I understand that they employed you. You are an appointee of that party. But you understand that there are certain responsibilities that till you die, you must never show partisanship. It's just like drafting the Inspector General of Police into the campaign committee. It's just like drafting the INEC chairman into the campaign committee. It's just like drafting the Supreme Court judge into the campaign committee. That's what you've done with Zak Adedeji. Because these people are representing the interest of the entire Nigeria, not APC members alone. Zak Adedeji has the details of Tom that is not a member of any political party, of me, of everybody in this country. And they are drafting the person into the fundraising committee of an election. Who does that, Tom? Who does that?
Who does that? APC does that. APC is not who does that. APC has done it. Whether they take his name off the list right now or whether
The message has been sent.
he has done it, the message has been sent, and there's something fundamentally wrong with the decisions of the APC. There's something fundamentally wrong, and they need to do like a reassessment, they need to do a reassessment, and take the names that shouldn't be on that list out ASAP. Having said that, really the damage has been done, because what we're looking for, what we should be looking for, is the trust of Nigerians, and seeing how we can get a larger number of people to vote for our parties. So we have to be very tactical and tactful, when we're doing things. The strategy meetings that you're having, I think these are some of the things that you should be discussing at these meetings. And we already know that we have a master strategist, amongst many. So it's really left to, I'm not going to be suggesting or recommending anything, at this point, but I'm just saying that it was a huge, huge, huge mistake. One of the biggest mistakes that anybody could have made. Okay, so we're going on, and this is the Punch newspaper. Federal government states target cheaper transport fares with CNG bus rollout. Well, I think that's a good thing. Kudos to to the federal government, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to believe that a majority of these buses will be sent to Lagos State, because this is where we have the numbers.
Hopefully.
And I'm not saying the other states shouldn't
Shouldn't
benefit.
benefit,
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, these things should be rolled out, according to the numbers, what the numbers say, Because sometimes when you see people standing at bus stops, looking so dejected, looking so depressed, looking so ruffled, looking so unhappy, and there's really nothing you can do because you can't offer any help, knowing the situation in Nigeria. You want to help, but you can't help because you have to first help yourself. Otherwise, you may get into trouble. But if the government is going to be doing something as huge as this, it's a good thing. It's a very good thing, and we say well done, we say kudos, but why did this not come before now? Why was this thing not looked at before now? That's the point, because everything that's going to be done right now is going to be, certainly insinuated that it's because the political era dispensation has taken up in full, and it's all just because we need to use the people. So now we're turning our attention to the people a little bit so that we can use them, we can get their votes and move on. But that's not the way it should be. It's a good thing, and we say well done, we say kudos, we say thank you. But we also say, can this be continued even after elections? Even before there's a swearing in, even before there's a handing over, even before anything, can it continue? Since it started late, can it just continue? That's all we're asking. When we see these things and they're good, we say they're good. But how long is it going to last? Is it temporary? Is it just because we want something? Nigerians are no longer fools. That's the point. So the strategy, at this strategy meeting, we have to realize and put into consideration that Nigerians are thinking 50 steps ahead of where they were the last time, 100 steps, 1,000 steps, 1,000,000 steps. So we need to put all of this into consideration. Okay, very quickly, suspected thugs foil Ondo Speaker's impeachment.
That speaker must have 9 lives. The number of times they've tried to impeach him. Remember, there was a deadline that his colleagues, the people that appointed him speaker, gave, and they were counting down to that deadline. And just like we've been counting down to the presidential election that is 141 days away from today. It's almost like the speaker always, I don't know. Now, they said thugs were the ones that went to disrupt the process of his impeachment yesterday. They served him impeachment notice on allegations of
They first of all asked him to resign.
they told him to Sunday, he didn't step down. They served him impeachment notice, it didn't work. Now, maybe they want to use backdoor, the same one they did for Labeja in your state. Now they say for where boys are on rampage, and they did not allow the impeachment to happen, and that's what happened. So when you have institutions of government that have been so politicized and be so flawed that people will not allow a process to go smoothly. Remember when Mudashiru Obasa was impeached in Lagos, and then the first female speaker was sworn in temporarily, and all of the House of Assembly members were talking this and that and that. They used private jet allegedly to fly all of them to Abuja to see the president. By the following day, they were on the newspaper, on the TV. Even Desmond Elliott, my own House of Assembly member from Surulere Constituency 2, was crying on national TV like a child that had been taken, his breakfast had been taken away from him. And he was crying, and I'm like, what are you crying for? How did you get into office in the first place? Since we voted you in 2015 or thereabouts, what have you done for us in Surulere Constituency 2? What have you done for us? Now, you change your speaker. Because one thing is this, though, when there is the convocation of an assembly, people don't vote a speaker direct. People voted into the house first. Then your colleagues will now look at zoning. Oh, the governor is from here, the deputy governor is from here, then the speaker should be from here. In the spirit of fairness, do you understand? Oh, you're a first-time member, you're a returning member, you're a ranking member. Do you understand? Those are the considerations. Oh, you've been the chairman of finance committee, you've been the chairman of appropriation, you've held big committee chairmanship in that, and you have delivered. Amongst your colleagues, you are respected, you are loved, you are accepted. These are the considerations they put in position. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So when these same members came between themselves and say, we are going to vote Right Honorable Mudashiru, as at that time it's just honorable. Because when you become speaker or deputy speaker, they put Right Honorable in front of your name. We vote on Obasa. Now he's the longest serving speaker in the history of Lagos State House of Assembly. And when they voted him, it was a merry-go-round party. Everybody had fun. Do you understand? But now when they removed him, so the same people that had the power to vote him no longer have power to remove him. Do you understand? These same people were congratulating the speaker, the woman deputy speaker that was standing as speaker. In fact, the Governors Advisory Council, GAC in Lagos, already went to pay, because that was the first place she went to. The following day she was there. They've already done praying in the house. People came to the house to pray for her. That's the House of Assembly in Lagos. And the honorables felt like, we're exercising our powers, forgetting that there's a Baba Sokwe somewhere. Do you understand? That decision will cost you your return to the house. The Elect is not coming back. He has done 3 times. He's not coming back to the house. On his election day, they changed the location of primaries. It happens. Do you understand? You benefited from the 40 process. Don't think that 40 process will protect you when the time comes.
But it has often been said that he who kills by the sword will die by the sword.
I don't understand.
It's as simple as that. It's just a matter of time.
Because impeachment is a judicial is a legislative process. It is within the legislative powers of House of Assembly members or senators to impeach their leaders.
Yes.
But when thugs are now going to disrupt a constitutional process, it tells you who is in charge. We want to remove the person we appointed. It's part of us. If they remove your speaker, they are not removing him from the house. So you come and become a floor member. When they remove Senator David Mark as Senate President, he came back to the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand? But thugs are preventing a constitutional process.
That's Nigeria for you. That's the way the cookie crumbles. All right, it's still the Breakfast Express show. We'd like to take a quick break right now, and then when we return, we'll be looking at the Guardian newspaper, right? Is that what you guys say? Okay. All right. So
and there's a big report on the front page of the Guardian.
Okay.
And I really want us to look into it.
All right. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Astonishing.
Welcome back after that very quick break. It's time for us to look at the Guardian newspaper.
Yes, let's look at what the Guardian newspaper is reporting this morning. There's a very comprehensive report on the front page of Guardian. Okay. If you observe throughout the week, we've been spotlighting the issue of football development in Nigeria. We look into that. The Guardian newspaper is reporting this. $1 billion social fund. ADC accuses Tinubu of panic response to subsidy removal plots. I think we've analyzed that. The ADC accuses Tinubu of panic response to subsidy removal. It looks like it's only Atiku Abubakar that explained the opposition role now.
Yes, so
it's ADC. Okay. NHRC, AIN demand arrest of Abuja council boss over vote for APC or relocate threats. So on the evening of that day, I think we took that conversation here. I heard the local government chairman of Kuje area council is threatening people that if you don't. So that same evening, you know, there's a way you comport yourself if you are within the public space that people can cite arrogance from you from a 1,000 miles away. You goofed. You messed up as a chairman. Maybe out of, you know, sometimes this politician gets so excited, especially when there's a lot of money and then they're having privileges they know they don't deserve. You made a statement.
You ever say Ojo or Larry?
Then they're misbehaving.
That's man just
jumping to work. It's becoming your business. So the man now made a video. The same way his spokesperson was trying to gaslight the people that they should not convert that statement into unnecessary political whatever. The same chairman, you set camera. I'm sure they put powder on his face. Sat in front of the camera and were justifying the silly comments you made in a democratic setting. He was still trying to even gaslight the people the more. And that he was talking to a ring of APC people. So the people that are members of your political party, they will still not vote for your own candidate. So they are the ones that are saying you will send out of your local government. He will not even apologize clean. Do you understand? He said that he was talking to young people in the APC. Those are the ones he was advising. Excuse me? Is that an advice or a threat? He's still gaslighting the people, even in the midst of setting camera to apologize. That's the kind of political class that we have. Because they see leadership as an opportunity to feel better, superior.
Yes, because once you are in the party, that's what is often said.
I looked at the man and I'm like, it's better you are just kept quiet. Plus you, plus your media aid, it is your chief press secretary. It's better that they say that sometimes it is better for you to be quiet and people assume that you are foolish than for you to speak and people will now confirm that you are really foolish. You know, when you don't talk, it could be an assumption. Is it wise? Is it foolish? That assumption will continue. But when you open your mouth to talk, you say, you are very foolish. You don't have talked. That was what happened to that local government chairman.
And right now they're demanding that, he arrested.
Yes. That is threat to democracy. Yes. What's the difference between what they have said to what Sheikh Gingiri said in Kano?
Exactly.
What's the difference between what they have said to what Senator Fada said in Osun?
Exactly.
What's the difference between what they have said to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying all his friend politics?
It's the same thing.
What is the difference between what they have said to Obasanjo's do or die affairs in 2007? So you have people within political space that are very reckless, very careless about the choices that they make. And you know that they are foot soldiers that can act on what you have said. So let's imagine that during the election, remember there was a time in Kogi State where a woman leader was burnt in her house. Till today, nothing was done. So there are foot soldiers that are loyal to the local government chairman. You may not even know them. But because chairman have spoken, on election day, they can start pursuing people that are not voting for the APC. So you can tell me that they are not picking a key for what the chairman said? How would you even know who people are voting for? We run a secret ballot in this country where you have a cubicle where you take your ballot paper and then there's an ink pad and then you thumbprint there. How would you know the people that they are voted for? Are you simply telling us that you mobilize thugs to the polling unit so that they'll be checking who the people are voting for?
No, you know, people like that, when they're so full of themselves, they're not able, they don't even have the ability to process what it is they want to say before they say. They just speak, and at the end of the day, they speak and talk rubbish, and they want to try to do damage control, and they even make it worse because their communication skills is zero. You just give them when we were much younger, they'll give you a zero and put a dot.
They can even write "see me" on,
or they can put some ears.
And they have a very petty
and they will draw your eyes,
put your nose,
and see me. That's the kind of grade that they will give this kind of man, because he doesn't even understand jack. Because if you want, how did he even get there?
There's a weak case somewhere, right? So maybe I'm the one thinking too far. If we run a secret ballot, that means you go to the electoral officers, collect your voter slip, Do you understand?
Yeah.
Go into that cubicle. There's a pad there. The only person that is allowed to be assisted during voting are people living with disabilities. In fact, if physical disability is not visual impediment, you are not allowed to follow people there. If they are physically challenged, that means maybe they are crippled or something. Yeah. There's a way. If the only person that's allowed to go with them is adult INEC staff, not even their relatives. But for someone that is blind, it's understandable. Oh, party, maybe social and so party. Sometimes it can even be funny because you may have influence of another party, and the person says, "Stop my print for umbrella," and then you take them to come because they don't know who they are voting for. But if the local government chairman is saying, if you don't vote for the APC, we send you out of this local government. In Abuja, the seat of power, the FCT itself, and not the same local government where the Kuje prison is, where criminals escape till today. Many of them have not been arrested. But the local government chairman is boastful of the fact that they will send people out of the local government if they don't vote for APC. And which case,
at the end of the day,
they are taking cue from their leader. Which is their leader?
Look, leave them. I don't want to go the weekend way.
Something like that should be sanctioned already.
I don't want to be going the weekend way at all today, you know. But I just think that you know, something should be done. I agree to this call for arrests. You know, they should arrest him ASAP because he doesn't even know how to talk. First of all, maybe they should just put some braces on his mouth to lock him up. You know, first of all, so that he can't say a word. Up until, you know, they do all the investigations and, you know, come up with whatever decision it is they want to come up with.
All right. The vice president is charging at the NEC, turn economic gains into jobs, higher purchasing power. VP charges NEC. Turn economic gains into jobs, higher purchasing power. VP charges them. The big story. Football under scrutiny. NFF shops for new era managers amid global accountability probe.
Yeah.
So if you want to get the details of this story, you pick a couple of Guardian newspaper for yourself. You know the way Guardian does on Friday. They have full one. So there's a picture of a referee checking the VAR. And so what that means is that there are issues that need to be exposed. First off, finally, after all said and done, after we campaign for fresh start in Nigerian football, grassroots football development, even in our national team, for the very first time, we have a sequence of football where our male and female national team will not be participating in their World Cup. The Super Eagles were not in Qatar in 2022. They were not in US, Canada, and Mexico in 2026. The Super Falcons, since 1991, when the World Cup started, have never missed a single edition. 38 years they've been attending the World Cup. They are missing this edition. So we're calling for heads to roll. And then the chairman of NFF, Ibrahim Bousso, resigned. Which is quite unusual, by the way. They don't resign around the but he resigned yesterday. He says that he's a Nigerian and he wants the sport to progress. So he's moving away for a thorough and comprehensive investigation. Or that they told you to step down. It's not about moving away. The election was it's supposed to be next month. As soon as started campaigning, his foot soldiers are everywhere calling us names for demanding for change. NFF financial rot and mass resignation tone. 17 billion naira under investigation. Anti-graft agencies, the EFCC and ICPC are probing the misuse of government intervention fund and $25 million in grants. There's 17 billion from the presidential fund and there's $25 million in grants mismanaged.
Damn.
Mass resignation of leadership. President Ibrahim Bousso and the NFF board resigned following allegations of systemic financial fraud. They're stepping aside. FIFA global leadership on trial. Criminal complaints about Gianni Infantino that he wants to sell shares in FIFA and guess the continent that is supporting him, CAF, Africa. Because we have 54 members in CAF, 55 in UEFA. The entire 54 in CAF were supporting him.
But you know that's
the money that we
exactly.
$20 million guarantee sum.
But you know now, you know that Africa, this is a stock in trade. Corruption. So
there's collapse of national team success. Nigeria means qualification for both the 2026 Men's World Cup and 2027 Women's World Cup for the very first time since World Cup started. So the presidency is saying that, listen, we will not allow this one to go unpolished. Do you understand? So we are keeping our fingers crossed. And I told my friends yesterday, I said, edging the NFF has nothing to do with age. Do you understand? Get young people to come on board, bring dynamic. You see the people managing football at the global stage. They are young people that are ready to get into the system. Reach out to us. We administer football in this country better than the charlatans that we have there, recycling themselves for 20 years and above. What are they doing there? What are they afraid of? Under 17 men, we didn't qualify for AFCON, and that AFCON is supposed to serve as qualification for the World Cup. So those kids will not be at the World Cup. Under 20, the same thing. Under 23, the same thing. Watford, we didn't qualify. Watford, we were beaten twice by Burkina Faso within the space of 1 week. Super Eagles, we didn't qualify for the World Cup twice. Super Falcons, we didn't qualify for the World Cup for the first time in 38 years. And the same people say has the gut and effort to stand up and run for political office. Now you are going to account for $25 million grants and 17 billion presidential intervention fund. Oga, you will talk.
I know we talked about this extensively yesterday, so I'm not going to have to make any contribution on this one anymore. But you know that a lot is going to be happening in this area, and we'll continue to bring to the floor and continue to update. And like we promised, hopefully next week we'll be having somebody who's vast in football administration, the game of football, everything about it. We'll be having him join us on the program. Oh yes, I'm sure he will oblige our request.
Nigeria to strengthen defense pact with Saudi Arabia and Bangladesh. So there's another big report too on the Guardian. The report claims 7,825 Nigerians have been abducted in 1 year, and 7.78 billion has been paid for ransom in 1 year. Let me take that again.
Lucrative business.
Let me take that again. Reports claim that 7,825 Nigerians have been abducted in the last 1 year. And out of those abductions, 7 billion and 78 million have been paid as ransom. So there is SBM. SBM is an intelligence agency that ran that report. I had a conversation with the lead researcher and the co-founder on Tuesday. And the one he said that thing, like in the last 14 years, $8.1 million have been paid as ransom. That in the last 1 year alone, on a particular cell, a particular kidnappers ring, do you understand? That's the jails, or what do they call them? They've received over 1 billion. So I've shared this full report with you. You will read it.
I've read it.
Hopefully we'll get Mr. Effiong is the Barrister Effiong rather is the lead researcher of SBM Intelligence to join us on the show sometime next week to break these things down to us to 7.7 billion in 1 year as ransom. And they broke it down. So anytime government comes and tells that people were abducted and they were rescued. No, this even gave us the full details about how much government has been paying. The mass adoption in Niger State, the amount that was paid, they told us. The mass adoption in Borno, the amount that was paid, they told us in that report. And the government had come and said, we didn't pay a dime. Do you know that this country have criminalized ransom payment? I'm sure you know. In Nigeria, ransom payment is criminal.
I mean,
but the government is paying ransom.
Exactly.
The mass adoption in Niger State now, do you understand? The General Police is deploying DIG. Guess what though? There's no deployment anywhere. They pay ransom. They pay ransom. They pay ransom.
What it is, they say what you order versus what you don't. I mean, what they tell us versus what it actually is. The truth is that these things will come to the fore.
No matter
how much you try to cover it, it's going to come out. And then that will even make you, a government that's not irresponsible. Exactly. Your government that's not accountable, that's not transparent. So just because you have access to our commonwealth. You can do what you want with it without accounting to us what you've used it for, and nobody's going to say anything anyway because they didn't even know in the first place how much was there. So when any amount goes out of the commonwealth, nobody is going to be explaining anything anyway. But the truth is that at some point we will know. We always say that what you do in the dark will come to the light sooner than you expect. And even the Orire kidnap, we were saying how much went into it. Government told us
that they were rescued. So let me read something for you.
But eventually we will know if anything was, went into it.
Let me read a part of that full report. They said 7.78 billion was paid in ransom in 1 year, and Boko Haram pocketed over 90% of the proceeds. So when people tell you that Boko Haram is an ideological group, I tell you to shut up. They've abandoned what they were fighting for. They've metamorphosed into a full criminal gang. Do you understand? So Boko Haram is no longer fighting against Western education anymore. No, it's a full criminal gang. So let me push one part of it for you. He said, while noting that the ransom demand has decreased by 48 billion in the preceding year to 22.9 billion, the firm said that the actual amount paid are tripled. So last year, the demand was 48 billion. Do you understand? But people paid 22.9 billion. Now, this year's own, do you understand? It has gone, the last demand was 48 billion, but only 2.5 billion was paid as ransom. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But this year, 22.9 billion has been requested as ransom, and 7.7 billion has been paid in 1 year. He went on to say that according to the report, a single jihadi group, the Jamaat al-Sunnah, that's the JAS, otherwise known as Boko Haram, have gotten 90%. That's 7 billion of the 7.78 billion that was paid in 8 incidents, 8 major incidents. He went on to say that the reports, when the mass abduction of over 300 students from St. Mary's Catholic Church in Papari in Niger State, and the abduction of 416 people, including children, taken from Mboshe community in Borno State. He said the terror group got 5 billion to release the Mboshe captives. 5 billion to release the Mboshe captives, and he got 2 billion to release the Papari students in Niger State. That's 7 billion for Boko Haram alone. You remember that abduction in St. Mary's Catholic Church in Niger?
I remember.
They paid 2 billion to rescue those children, 300 of them. And the ones that were abducted in Borno, they paid 5 billion to rescue them. That's 7 billion. Easy piece, not transfer. Easy raw money. Because bandits don't collect transfer.
Well, I think I've already done my analysis. The Commonwealth is the Commonwealth of a few. Of the uncommon, and it will continue to be so until there's an attempt, a decision.
What did that man say?
Decision to ensure that these monies are spent appropriately and will reach the masses.
What did that man say the other time when he called?
He said it's finished now. What?
No, I just wanted to be sure. I just wanted to be sure.
He said it's finished.
I wanted to be sure. See, you read that report, then you understand that the government are the lawmakers and are now the lawbreakers. If we have criminalized in this country ransom payments, and the government are now the one leading that charge, that's why I told people that when bandits come and they don't pick 1 or 2 persons, they don't know what they are doing.
They are just patronizing.
Because there's no way you will tell me that 416 people were abducted and then you rescued every single one of them alive without casualties. I've always wondered, when you say you rescue people, is it not by combat or by willing surrender? So that means when you rescue 416 people, you did not shoot any of the bandits. There was no gunfire exchange. People that came to abduct just call and say, Mr. President, we have seen your threat, we are scared. Please come and collect all your Nigerians. 5 billion was paid for Borno. 2 billion for Papari in Niger State. Oh, it is finished.
You want to say it is sad, and then you just say it is finished.
I want to see if my voice can sound like Jesus. Oh. Let's quickly wrap up this one.
Yeah.
IGP deploys AIG Zone 7 to Niger over abducted worshippers and others. Now, they spent 8 days now in the kidnappers' den. Hoodlums storm Ondo Assembly amid plots to impeach Speaker. Federal government raises $1.4 billion for electricity transmission amid vandalism and repayment crisis. And the last on the Guardian, as subsidy savings, government rejects blame as Atiku insists on mismanagement. And that's the much the Guardian is offering. I mean, the calls should come in. Let's see if we can pick a couple of them before we leave too. But let's check your other stories.
Okay, I'd like to look at the Daily Trust right now. 6 traders killed as vehicle rammed into market in Taraba. Well, quite an unfortunate incident. Stop bloodshed in North. Opposition lawmakers tell Tinubu. It's not about the opposition lawmakers telling Tinubu. The Northerners themselves, you know, when they're serious, we will know. You know, when they're serious, it will stop. You will see. Even if it doesn't stop, it will be on the decline. You know, we'll see it. Hurdles before National Assembly leaders. Subsidy or no subsidy, Tinubu promises cheaper transport from October. Trouble in Nigerian football. NFF president and others resign. That's it from the Daily Trust. It's done.
Yeah, not so much. And let's see if we can still put in a couple of stories. I will welcome the calls, by the way. Let's check Nigerian Tribune too.
We're expecting calls. Yeah, go ahead and do Nigerian Tribune.
Adelabu ends contest for Oyo APC ticket. Lament injustice. And that's on page 27. And we heard that it was won. That the president called him and said, are you sure you want to go for this? Even on the eve of the deadline for a resignation, he said he's sure that the APC leadership and his people in Oyo have guaranteed him that they will vote for him in the primaries. Unfortunately, Senator Sharaf Adid Ali picked up that ticket in whatever circumstances it happened. So our former Minister of Power had been replaced by Minister Tegbe. Now, we don't know, maybe the president would reassign Mr. Adelabu to another portfolio, or he's just going to be a member of the All Progressive Congress. We keep our fingers crossed.
Well, I would like to make a comment on that. When I am a former minister, you know, makes such statements like or lamenting injustice, then what do we say to him? What do we say to a man who abandoned his duty post, you know, took Nigerians, you know, from the first or second floor of a building and now put them in the basement, abandons them there and takes a walk? You know, he's looking for greener pastures for himself. He's left Nigerians, you know, groping in the dark as to, you know, which way next. He was the one who brought Bande Banbi and
he brought classes into electricity space.
Into the electricity space. Now, how do we do away with all of that? How do we go back to what we used to be and start to rebuild from that point? He never gave us a template as to how we're going to do this thing, how we're going to work it through. He abandoned us so bad and went to look for greener pastures for himself. What is that? How do you describe that? Is that not injustice? But is that not a whole lot of injustice to a whole lot of people, much more than himself? I think he should be ashamed of himself and his utterances right now. He should be ashamed that he can be clearly seen as somebody who is selfish and self-centered. You know, now it's all about him. I'm not going to pray for anything good to come out of what he's looking for, because you need to go and fix the space that you left, the uncertainty that you left. You need to go and fix it before you get to move forward. All right, we have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yes, it's Chede again.
Again. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. I want to quickly chip into the Adelabu matter. My dear sister, just like the children say on the street, I will say Allah to Adelabu. Original Allah, yes. And I want you to know, from my own calculation, it's like Tinubu don't even want him to get there. They are the one that called the shot now. Opa just said that Joe asked him even the night before, are you sure? Forget are you sure, are you not sure? It's, they don't want him to get. If they want him to about the passion for no, if that's
Of
the
course.
they will enter there. So like I said again, for what it is, it's scattered everything back there and be. Is it trying to tell us that some Nigerians are better than others?
I don't understand though.
So I say a lot to Adela. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And how I was expecting it to come, because I don't know when the things are really, really touchy, he will come. Okay, so yeah, I mean that Ella is a big Ella, real Ella Ojuko.
You can't eat your cake and have it.
No, you can't.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
Now, he's even the one now calling for reconciliation in the Oyo APC. Everybody has entered the straight line. Do you understand? So you are the one that will need to talk to your people to reconcile and realign yourself with the party as itself. So, well, we wish him well in his future endeavors, and I'm sure that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will surely, maybe assign him or give him another portfolio. But when you know what the Minister of Power is sitting on, do you know that at the time President Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed Amadele Fayose as the head of the Rural Electrification Agency, Fayose will have been working under Adelabu. I'm sure you know, as Minister of Power.
Yeah.
That's a two-term governor of the state. He will have been heading a unit, almost like a department under the Ministry of Power. End bloodshed, terrorism and banditry in the north. Reps Minority Caucus urges Tinubu ask federal government to draw 5 billion from external reserve for extraordinary national security intervention. Okay. Economy reforms. Experts weigh gains, cost, and prospect. Economy has stabilized. Finance Minister declares. Says focus now on conversion of stability to prosperity. Caution against reforms fatigue. Governors reject blame over accountability for fuel subsidy removal proceeds. Well, the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, is saying that the economy is now stable. So the next thing for the presidency is to convert stability to prosperity. That's the next step. And maybe that's part of the things they used to campaign in 2020, as all the way down to the election. And of course, the Minister of Finance also cautions against reforms fatigue. Well, governors are rejecting Atiku Abubakar's claim of lack of accountability. They say that don't blame us for poor accountability of fuel subsidy and removal proceed. Okay, I'm trying to understand who I'm going to blame. If the president is saying that I've given governors so much money, and the governors are now saying that the opposition should not blame them. So is it that the president is lying, he had not given you money, or you don't want to be responsible? Because if the president is saying that leave the nationals, focus on the subnationals, I give your governors triple, 10 times what they were getting before. I give your local government chairman money, let me rest. Go and ask your governors, and the governors are saying the opposition should not ask them for accountability. And they say that two truths can coexist. The president is giving you money and you don't want to be accountable. That is the truth that we have on the table right now. And the governors are saying, no, don't put us on that corner. Okay, it makes sense.
So where's the money? If the governors say, they can't be accountable.
We are collecting the money.
We are collecting the money.
Are you returning it to the president?
Exactly, where's the money? Have you returned it? That's the question.
But telling you to be accountable for things handed to you in public trust. You are saying that they are rejecting the blame for accountability. So we should take the blame. I gave you money, Tony, and I'm telling you to be accountable for the money I gave you. But I'm still supposed to take the blame for your responsibility and you not spending the money judiciously. I said something on this show on Monday that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have over-pampered these governors such that they cannot even think creative enough to look at how to generate funds internally. All of these IGRs that state are supposed to be using to augment whatever they are getting from the government. They are no longer pursuing it again because the government is giving them enough. A state that is collecting 3 billion and was able to manage to pay salary and do small infrastructure here and there, they are now collecting 11 billion. Tell me the governors will not misbehave. Then that's why Fayose was telling Governor Yebamiji that take care of us former governors. They're supposed to change our cars every 2 years because Fayose knows that Yebamiji is getting times 10 of what he used to get when he was governor. And he wants to find a way to also still get back to reckoning and be feeding fat. You know, it was one that introduced the raw stomach infrastructure to Nigerian politics. That was asking Governor Yebamiji now that ẹ tọ́jú our former governor dáadáa. Ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà jẹ nínú ọ̀la. That's what Fayose said. That needlessness of entitlement. The last time I heard of that was when Baba Adedibu was telling the governor that he has right to 25% of security vote that comes into Oyo State every month. Exactly what happens. And guess who then President Olusegun Obasanjo supported? Baba Adedibu. Imagine somebody telling the governor that 75 million comes into your account every month on security vote and entitled to 25% of that money. Entitled.
Okay. At the end of the day, where is the Adedibu?
It's gone.
Bottom line. That's just it. That's a lesson that I am hoping sincerely from my heart that a lot of people will learn.
It's not even politicians alone. Life generally.
That's what I mean.
Life generally.
It's so transient.
Life
I mean,
generally.
it's not a stable. It's not a certain thing. You know, it's not in your hands to hold or determine. You know, it's not like a magic wand that you can wave when you want and how you want. That's not it. Life is so beyond us that we can't really just sit down and think for a second. You know, what is going to be. You may plan. It's often said that man proposes and God disposes. You may plan all you want. Put it all together. Tomorrow, this is what I'm going to do. If God says that at this point, your life, your soul is required.
Not say what you want to.
To absolutely nothing.
You think Dolly Parton cannot buy life?
Do you know all the things that Dolly Parton did? COVID, the treatment of COVID, Dolly Parton sponsored.
Do you know that
one of the vaccines was sponsored by Dolly Parton?
Do you know that too? There are stores in the US where there are kids' toys in their millions that you walk to and park for free. Sponsored by Dolly Parton.
Yes.
Kids' toys, everything.
She sponsored so many. She was a humanitarian philanthropist. She did, you know, listen.
She lived a modest life.
I'm a Christian.
But she's dead.
And I'm not saying I'm a woman of God, a man of God. Because when someone tells me, before you know anything, they say I'm a man of God.
We don't have that conversation.
I start
if you use that to introduce yourself, you have ended that conversation.
So I'm just saying I'm a Christian because I want to make reference to the Bible. It says, when I was hungry, you gave me food. When I was thirsty, you gave me water to drink.
But the people asked, when you
did all of this, it said, when you did it for one of these, the masses on the street, the ones who don't have food to eat, when you did it for one of them, when you clothed them, when you made them happy, you did it for me, you made me happy. Therefore, come home and rest. But for a lot of people, what would it be? You did it for your pockets. You did it for yourself. Did you know when your life was going to be demanded of you? Were you in control to stop that demand when it will come? We talk about Adedibu now. Where is he? Where is he?
No, I've said it, that the brutality of life and the fatality of the same means that it could meet you at the funniest places. People have died driving it too. People have died.
Yeah, they had a stroke and they died.
Yes. It could meet you on a Sunday morning. It could meet you in the midst of unfulfilled dreams. It could meet you in the midst of the deadliest ambitions. But the moment your time comes, there's no afterlife anywhere. Your chapter closes forever.
That's it.
So you're not even sure what is being done behind you. It's not this wealth that you're acquiring, that you're stealing, you see the people that do not work for it. They push it anyhow. They will fight, kill each other over the properties that you labored for. But at the end of the day, it's 6 feet.
That is it.
Nobody is saying you should not live. I always tell people that see me like this, but I love luxury of life. I love good life. Of course. Do you understand? But the moment that chapter is closed,
That's it. It's closed.
you're gone. Do you understand? You're gone. There was an instance that was mentioned in the Holy Quran, that there was a man that was very, very loyal, very committed, and he told God that if you want to kill me, if death wants to come, please tell me ahead so that I will prepare. Do you understand? And God said, okay, is that what you want? He said, yes. He said, okay, I will grant that wish for you. Do you understand? At the end of the day, death came, the man died. He was not questioning that. He did not tell me that death was coming, that when he was going to die, rather. And then he told him that when your legs could not carry you, those were signs. When you could not eat the food you were eating 20 years before, those were signs. When you could not climb the staircase, when you could not move around the way you were moving around, those were signs that death was coming. But you did not pay attention.
You were waiting for me to talk.
Tell you that you die tomorrow.
Am I a human being?
You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
That's the point.
So we know that at the end of our lives, even if you think that there's nobody we want to be accountable to, you see that moment. So I always tell people that it's good to make plans, long-term plans. Oh, next year. But how do you plan for something you don't have a control over?
It's not.
You don't even woke up this morning, by now they are dead. This morning they are dead.
And nothing was wrong with them.
People saw 10 o'clock. This is 10:24. They are dead. It's a moment.
It's only grace that keeps us, So let's not take undue advantage of God's grace and mercy upon us. Let's be more human, Let's think about, let's be humane. Let's reach out, Let's touch people's lives. Dolly Parton's death, I haven't come to terms with it because she was one of my great musicians. And she was such a person with a sense of humor, great sense of humor, and I haven't even had time. The week has not allowed me to, to take it all in. Yes, I'm now going to play her music, read up on her, and all of those things. But right now, I can't really take it all in. But she's lived her own life and she's gone. What is she going to be remembered for? The things we're speaking about now. That's what she's going to be remembered for. But what are you going to be remembered for? That's a totally different ball game. We don't know, because if you haven't done right, then you're not going to be remembered for the right things, only for the wrong things. All of these monies that we're just, we're pushing aside, we're taking at will, we're spending at will. One day is one day you will account. It's either you account for it here or you account for it there. But there will be some accounting done anyway. Okay, we're not getting the calls, so many, I don't know what's happening. And more often than not, when we have issues like this, it's either there's a technical problem somewhere or the network providers are not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not giving us the quality of service that we deserve to get. And, if nobody's saying anything, we will come back and tell you the reason why we're not getting the number of calls that we're supposed to get. Okay, well, that's the much we will take today on the program. It's the Breakfast Express show, and this is the much we can do. It's a weekend. I'm preparing for the weekend. It's going to be sleep time for me.
Well, very needed sleep. Very needed sleep.
Very needed sleep, honestly. And so, let's do something, okay? Let's come back here next week, and let's actually charge those who are regular callers, to do something good, over the weekend. And when we come back next week, while you're introducing yourself, tell us a good thing that you did, over the weekend. We'll be looking forward to hearing from you, especially our regular callers. So please tell us the one good thing that you did over the weekend. I'm looking to see what it is. I will do something good too, and I'll come back and tell you about it. All right, thank you so much for watching the program today. It's a weekend, so we're wrapping it up for the week. We will be back, God willing, because He is the one who knows everything. We will be back, God willing, on Monday to serve you breakfast, to ask you to join us for breakfast, and we hope we'll have fun. It's time for us to say our goodbyes.
Yeah, what a week it's been. and the engagement continues, but the countdown does not stop, despite the fact that the weekend starts today. And so by Monday, God willing, we're going to be back, and we'll have less than 140 days to the presidential and the National Assembly election. Like Togo said, this weekend, please, I know it could be difficult, you want to survive, but please try and make sure that you get, some good rest, so that when we come back on Monday, we are fresher and they'll be ready to engage you in how your weekend also, played out. My name is Opeyemi. Okay, thank you very much for being a part of the conversation the entire week, and more importantly, for inviting us into your living room, your office spaces, your restaurant, anywhere you're watching us, your bedroom. It's a privilege, and we don't take that for granted. We'll be back again on Monday, God willing. Have a beautiful weekend and stay safe.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited, for this weekend. I hope you are too. We'll come back here on Monday by the grace of God. But before I go, apart from asking you to do something good, please don't forget, to take a look at yourself in the mirror. And if you do find that you have certain things you need to work on, please work on them as soon as possible, so that the world will be a better place for you and I. Thank you, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. See you on Monday by God's grace.